Good morning, everybody. Glad to have you on this fine day. I want you to meet, this is who we call Casper. Casper's kind of a wildcat that started coming up on our deck and started, we seen her robbing food from our dog when we feed him, and finally Casper just kept on getting a little braver and a little braver, a little braver. And so I said, well, let's get some cat food and we'll start feeding. Delia named the cat Casper, and because it was like a ghost, as she said, that it was always coming and going. You know, you couldn't hardly find Casper. So, but she kept eating really voraciously, and I said, I bet she's pregnant or has nursing. And anyway, bottom line is sure enough, she does. So there's 4 kittens. Now they're wilder than wild right now. They're real little, but because of her wildness, but she's allowing us now to handle her a little bit. She's not what I would call a true cuttable cat, and not cuddly, but we can pick her up and put her on top of the table where her food is, where we set it. There's a kitten right there. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, so you can see the kitten. I think they're going underneath the house. I think that's, yeah, there it is. Just cute as could be. Whoop, sorry. There she is. Cute as could be, little kitten. So we kind of sit out here of an evening a little bit, not much because we ain't got a lot of time, but we try to sit out here of an evening, and we're trying to get them to where they'll let us handle them. And one day we're going to have a nice trip to the veterinarian to get them all fixed. That's the game plan. So anyway, but little oddity here on the farm. So all right, so heading out here from my raccoon watch. And by the way, I wanted to say thank you to all our new Lenexa friends, customers in Lenexa that supported me yesterday. I had a wonderful time. Boy, it's a heavy dew today. I had a wonderful time being there, and it's a neat experience going to new places. There's stuff that we don't know what we don't know yet, right? You go in there and you don't know how long it's going to take me to get there. You don't know how long it's going to take to move all of my produce from my vehicle to my vending spot. So things like that. Out here, for those of you that are new and have the 2 hives here, and we can see that the bees are coming and going. Yep, these guys are new to our farm, and yep, with the winds being light today, we'll have some good movement is what we're going to have. We'll have some really good movement. We noticed a lot of bees were actually on our cantaloupe yesterday. What I like to do, for those of you who, I'll try to get you guys in the shade. What I like to do for those of you who haven't been with me, is I do what I call a raccoon walk in the mornings. I try to verify, do I have any problems with raccoons getting into my sweet corn? We're at that stage. Normally you don't care, they're going to do what they're going to do, but out here is my first batch. It's all my sweet corn, other than one small little piece there, and we have blackberries that are coming on right there, newly planted this year. You can kind of see them. I got to get more stakes driven and all that, but it's going. Now, they're the sweet corn. So I walk out here, I verify the fence is still up. I verify that the corn is still up. And this is not a big patch. It's not big. I don't know. Maybe 40% of an acre, something like that. But I can go in here and look and verify that the corn is not pulled down. Now this is just one that was stepped on probably by a deer. So what we want to look for is that our silks, blonde, green, and no bugs. That's an important one, that we don't see Japanese beetles and blister beetles out here feasting on the on it. Start looking out here, and okay, we're in good shape. Yeah, just want to keep your eyes on it. You get those, you know, parethin is something we can use, and which is an organic. It's an organic form. It's allowed for the organic community, but we don't want to apply it until 8 p.m. at night, 8:30 at night, if we have to do that. But we got to make sure there. No one likes to have worms, and I do. And on top of it, nobody likes to open up an ear of corn that's missing its kernels. And if the silks get bitten by an insect, if it gets bitten off, now we run into problems of there being a missing kernels, if you will. So your big companies who have the big contracts with the supermarkets and whatnot, they'd be out here on a regular basis. They have no choice. I'm not faulting them. But they'd be out here, they'd have to be spraying daily, semi-daily, whatever their schedule is, they'd have to do it. Because otherwise, it's just going to be too much at risk for their contracts, because obviously the grocers do not want to show up and say, hey, how come our corn it has missing kernels? How come our corn is not full? So, you know, those are real things. In our small case, Delia and I can be a little bit more discretionary. We can be more, I'm listening here, more of a crop scout. And so I'm looking through the corn, and there's a new track right there. Deer track. Yeah. Got to make sure the deer ain't in here knocking stuff down too. But for the most part, for whatever reason, the deer have left me alone. But I know deer will live in corn as well, so that may not hold water this year. Let's look at the corn from a different angle. I hope you can. But we can see corn if it's pulled down, things like that. You know, deer eat corn from the top down. Raccoons pull the corn down. So that's how we kind of know who's at fault here and stuff. This particular corn, you can see a difference. When I go to market this week in, well, Overbrook and Topeka, Lenexa, this is the corn that's going there. Now these guys might need a little bit more time. These guys are going to carry over a little bit, probably into my following week. So my earliest corn is not this, obviously, because these guys just didn't quite put on a big ear yet, that type of thing. It's going to be close for some of them. Something like that's definitely going to be a potential. So these guys here, they're just right there on the cusp. I'll be kind of working on these throughout the week. Definitely looking at probably 2 weeks on these guys right there. You notice they're still pretty blonde. I don't see the orange color, and orange like that color there, indicating it has been pollinated. See how this corn is turning brown a little bit on the edges, a little golden look? Well, that's because those have been pollinated. If we look at our corn, I'm going to try to shuffle this, see if I can get any pollen. There it goes. Pollen usually only falls like at certain times of the day, and that's for ideal. There's a reason behind it. Ideal type of conditions and stuff. So it'll drop its pollen And that's what all that little dust is right there on our on the corn. So anyway, it's part of the phase that we're at right now, that not all of it's going to be quite ready. But there is some like that has pretty much been matured, or pretty much all been pollinated, and I need to do that. So need to go ahead and be harvesting that soon. So a little bit of a hit and miss here while we get the thing going, but once we get into this stuff, it's gonna be crazy. We're gonna be into it. Something else today, this is my second planting right over here, or technically a third. Well, it's at a different stage, obviously. Tassels are just now starting to form, starting to come out. No real silks yet on that. That's for down the road. And today, I'm gonna come out here on my third planting. I'm gonna get my urea on it. I haven't had a chance to do it. Today is the day. I'm behind, but it's where it is. So I'll get out my urea, put it on, and make sure we're in good shape there. That's the last thing. So let's get on over here. We're gonna show you some excitement here on our, I gotta go pick some green beans, but while it's still cool. But I'm gonna show you something I really like, and it's real neat. Now, as I'm out here at the cantaloupe right now and the watermelon, you'll see that I have a cantaloupe, and you're starting to see a web. I'm gonna use a little fertilizer down here today in watering, but you can start to see the webbing. There's better examples further down. Let me pull this one water hemp out. We don't want to leave him. All right. So, but these are pretty young. This section's kind of my second planting of the cantaloupe, but these guys never had the aphid damage that my oldest group has. You can see all the blooms down there. Look at all the blooms on this cantaloupe. So they're totally covering the area. And we don't know what happened here, guys. Me and Delia was talking about it. We don't know why that particular vine decided to die and whatnot, but it is. So we look in here. These are in our oldest cantaloupe. We can also see a lot more maturity when we're looking at the cantaloupe, how it's getting. Then there's all stages. That guy in there is still kind of smooth. There's another one smooth. The first cantaloupe we seen was right down here, and it's just about totally what would be the right phrase, webbed up right in here. There it is. Look at it. Look at how this is what's exciting. Look at that. See how it's all getting webbed up? A nice size. It's getting some weight on it. Yeah. This guy I wouldn't think would be too long. We looked in the grocery stores and we kind of looked at those. They have the same variety, Athena. Evidently, Athena is a real thing for the grocery stores, for them to actually call it out as a name. You know, like Silver Queen is in the Southeast. Everyone loves Silver Queen Sweetcorn. Well, Athena must be a real thing in the world of cantaloupe, because that's what this is. We have Athena in one row, we have Aphrodite in another. They're similar in their size. I'll just call it that. They're similar in size, but no, they're starting to web, which maybe by 4th of July I might have me some cantaloupe to sell. Wouldn't that be lovely? So happy for everybody. Look at our butternut squash, and they're still blooming, and there's a lot of bees in here, of course, but we have a lot of butternut squash coming on. I know butternut's kind of one of them ones that people think of fall, like acorn squash, but you know, I remember how everyone's so excited to see butternut squash. I get the fact it's cooler, so we're gonna do a little bit more baking and stuff like that, but we thought we would take a chance on it. It says, well, gosh, everybody enjoys butternut so much. Let's go ahead and provide some butternut for people. Yeah, so we just decided why not go and provide some butternut squash for people. Everybody loves it, so let's keep on going. I'm gonna get in here. Let's look at our, it's getting hard to get in. Let's look at our watermelon. There's one. So that's sangria right there. There's two of them side by side. That's sangria. So that's what that is. And there's a bee. Look at that. There's one of our bees. Go to work, boys. Or actually, I think a lot of them are girls. Don't hold me to that, but probably boys. Yeah, look at the bees. We're probably going to get some major pollinating today with our wind being so low. That's wonderful. From what I understand, a cantaloupe flower has to be visited 3 times by a bee for full pollination. Okay, well, yeah, that's what I heard. And I imagine my watermelon's got to be in a similar kind of a boat. Yay or nay, if you guys know anything, let us know. But getting a lot of stuff. Let's go see if we got any bees getting into our watermelon over here. But we are becoming quite the attractive field. There's a moth or butterfly. But I do see some blooms in here. This is again sangria right here. We have 2 rows of sangria. And over here we have, excuse me, 2 rows of crimson sweet watermelon. There's a small, that's actually that's a sangria by the length of it. I guarantee you that's a sangria. We'll find us a crimson sweet down here. We'll walk around this row and find us a crimson sweet. There we go. Look at nice how big around that is, huh? Look at that. There's my hand. Not size of a basketball yet, but it's growing. Another nice crimson sweet right there. Yeah, I had quite a few I found the other day. There's one. I think I was actually standing over there, but there's a crimson sweet there. They're in here. We need a lot more of them. We need a lot more of them. There's one. There's 2. Yeah. They're in here. And I think it's time to go and get them watered. Let's walk on down. These guys down here were hit awfully hard, but with aphids. Really bad. Look at all the new growth they have on them. Yeah. They're not even the same melon right now, so that's wonderful. Yeah, they kind of had to use a little perethin on them, folks. They were just, the aphids were so bad. I came out at night and put that on them, and that is an organic control, a pest. So, all right, I even see a Athena or Aphrodite, whichever. From here right across. That's wonderful. Yeah, we're getting melons out our ears now, so that's good. It's one of the things that Delia and I really needed to help us take our farm to the next level. This is something that we had not been able to do, is raise melons successfully thanks to running this plastic. My phone kind of got hot, and it is hot outside, but I am fertilizing with some 9-15-30 and some calcium nitrate right now out there on my watermelon. I want to at least get one good fertilization in per week, and it's gonna, and with the heat being what it is, we do about 3 waterings a week. So keep that moisture. There they are putting on fruit. we have a lot of good things going. That this is a good bloom booster for our a good bloom booster for us. So we want to make sure we keep that going. Delia's, look at all the pumpkins that's come up. The little red is the seed still sitting on top of the cotyledon there. So yeah, they're all coming up. All our pumpkins are coming up. So that's exciting. So let's head on out here. I'm going to switch this over at the dosatron. I do 2 rows at a time. My magic formula for fertilization is the same for every kind of a plant for the most part. I'm talking about bigger plants, tomatoes and whatnot. Let me take this out. We'll stick that in over here. And I'm gonna slide this one. Yep, slide this guy over if I can. There we go. Mix it up good. They're not that super compatible. Calcium nitrate does want to kind of plug things up, so I'm kind of agitating it a little bit. I don't want it settling too much, but let's head out and we'll stir it up again. I have to switch the water lines. So my magic formula for fertilizing water fertilizer, whether you're talking tomatoes, the Master Blend tomato package, or whether I'm doing 9-15-30 out here with calcium nitrate, here's my formula. The number of plants times 0.03 equals the fluid ounces of that fertilizer per week. So in other words, I got 240 plants on a row here, or on 2 rows. That's what I happen to have. I'm not dealing with acreages, mind you, even though over a distance it's acreages, but as I fertilize, instead of doing an acre, and I don't have a pump big enough to deal with all that, in order to balance it out, I had to come up with a strategy that's measurable and not wasteful, and not going to burn my plants and that type of thing. So in this case, my 240 total plants, we're talking 7 ounces of fertilizer. So that's what I do. I measure out 7 ounces of fertilizer, and now it's time for me to come down here. I'm doing another 240 plants, so I'm going to switch my line and have it go to 2 more rows. So this way, the theory is everybody gets the right amount of fertilizer per week. I'm trying to prevent blossom end rot. I'm just going to cut this line off here. We'll shut it off, and we'll come here, shut this line off. If you have a bigger or more pressure, more volume, there we go, then you could do more lines. You can run more plants. There we go. So now I'm doing the sangria row. Now I don't personally care whether I'm talking the, I know there's probably a fly in my ointment when it comes to being 100% dead on right. But it's the best advice that was given to me for tomatoes, and I've applied it to these guys. If you read the packages and whatnot, it's a little bit confusing, but I think that having an understanding of how much you're fertilizing will tell you how much you need to do. So number of plants times 0.03 will equal the amount of fertilizer per week we need to give these guys. I'm giving the 9-15-30 to help out with my blooms, help out with the cardiovascular side of everything, you know, the sweetness, the potassium's good for the sweetness, stuff like that. So I got a lot of good blooms here, and that's my fertilizer. Calcium nitrate, we're using that to kind of prevent our blossom end rot. That's plus give them a little bit of green growth in there as well. I don't want to push the green growth a whole lot for a lot of these because we are in the reproductive stages for much of it. So, but I am concerned about blossom end rot. So that's why we're adding some calcium nitrate each week to our fertilizer package.